From NBC 26, this is Storm Tracker Weather First.
Storm Tracker 26 live Doppler radar showing a few showers across the CSRA, but so far nothing in the way of heavy rain. We do have some heavy rain down to the south and off to the west, so still a pretty good chance of rain overnight. Right now we are 70 degrees. That chance of rain and possibly a few thunderstorms is 40%. It will be warm in the morning. Wake up temperatures in the mid 60s. A few morning showers out there tomorrow. High temperatures in the middle 70s. There is another chance of rain on the way toward Easter. I'll have that forecast coming up.
NBC 26 News at 11 starts now. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Paige Tucker. An unsettling day at Fort Gordon. An emergency drill on post had personnel facing active shooters and even bloodied civilians. But the drill took a scary turn when there was a miscommunication that there was an actual active shooter on post. Gates were closed during a lockdown as part of the military installation's annual hazard response exercise. Crews responded to simulated explosive devices and an active shooter scenario with pretend casualties. A 911 call reporting that shooting led to a response no one was prepared for. NBC 26's Casey Greenhouse here for you tonight with more on how the dramatization turned into reality.
They call, we go.
Major Scott Peebles says when they get a call from Fort Gordon officials requesting backup on an active shooter situation, every second is critical.
When you're looking at anywhere from 8 to 12 people dying every minute in a typical active shooter situation, sitting around and guessing whether it's real or not is not an option.
But it turned out to be a dud. More than 20 Richmond County officers and SWAT team responded to Chamberlain and Rice Roads around 11:45 Thursday morning. People said they were notified by Fort Gordon authorities.
Those authorities that we were speaking to believed that this was not part of the drill, that there was an active shooter. And based on what we know, it is based on a 911 call that came into the fort.
The confusion stemmed from an annual hazard response exercise on base. Gates were closed to help demonstrate what to expect in an emergency or active shooter situation. There were even simulated explosive devices and pretend casualties. Augusta Richmond County Fire Chief Chris James says it appeared the caller wasn't notified of the drill.
After they have looked into it, they have found that the call came from someone that associated the event with the exercise that they were doing.
Which leads us to ask what could have been done to prevent all the chaos.
I don't know what their protocol is. You would think that it would be best that you notified everyone that would be in the vicinity that this was a drill.
In Augusta, Casey Greenhouse, NBC 26.
Those emergency drills were supposed to continue through tomorrow, but they've since been canceled. Turning now to our NBC 26 crime alert, an early morning raid in Sand Hills neighborhood resulted in numerous arrests related to an alleged drug ring. The operation was part of a nearly year-long investigation into a drug trafficking ring and criminal street gang based out of the Sand Hills neighborhood area of Richmond County. About 90 officers participated in executing the warrant simultaneously. There have been plenty of arrests, the details of which will be forthcoming. No injuries were reported as a result of today's actions.
And that is not very common. It just goes to show that how this gang had pretty much took over this complex, and they ran pretty much all the tenants in there were either scared of them or cooperating with them.
At last check, they were still looking for 2 people who might be related to those crimes. Sheriff Richard Roundtree says this brawl started as a dispute between 2 girls at Glen Hills High School. He says the fight could have been prevented by the adults who were involved. Dozens of teenagers and adults were part of it. Roundtree says one parent drove her child to the location so she could fight. He says the disagreement was between 2 girls fighting over a boy. Glen Hills had an administrative hearing over the matter, but the dispute escalated. This behavior has the sheriff shocked.
Not only are we engaging, our young people are engaging in this type of behavior, they're promoting it, they're celebrating it via the social media site, and that's disturbing.
Investigators are still looking for anyone involved in the fight. One suspect still has not turned himself in. We've been telling you about the stabbing death of Demaje Bell all week related to that fight, and tonight more people are speaking out against the senseless violence. This 18-year-old was stabbed during a fight with several others, which led to his untimely death. The disturbing video that you've been watching is shocking to many, but to Yannick McKee, it is the same everywhere, he says. McKee became a mentor after he found himself going down the wrong path. He says he doesn't entirely blame the kids for acting out. He blames people who could have prevented this from happening, but did not.
I mean, I don't need to see a video to see what's happening. I know what's going on. I think what's got people all up in arms is that they're actually now seeing what they used to only hear about.
McKee's organization is set up to help troubled teens. His next event is scheduled in May the 2nd. Law enforcement from across the CSRA gathering in Augusta today to receive down officer kits and the training on how to use them. Experts say the training and the kits could make all the difference between life and death. The kits contain state-of-the-art equipment, which includes tourniquets and wound packing supplies. Officers learned how to use the kits to treat anyone in need or themselves.
This is incredibly important because if somebody suffers an injury to a major blood vessel within the body, they can literally bleed out in a matter of minutes. So by providing this type of training, the officers will have the skills to be able to stop that bleeding at the point of injury, so when we get them to the hospital, we have time to get them to the OR.
The region's healthcare coalition was able to provide more than 800 kits to more than 30 law enforcement agencies through the help of a state grant and Augusta's Shield Club. A recent U.S. Census ranks Columbia County as the 28th fastest growing county in the nation. NBC 26's Chris Guardaro here for you tonight in the studio with more on the area's rapid growth. Chris?
Paige, Columbia County's population rose 16% in the last 5 years, but with quick growth comes certain challenges. 20,000 more people live in Columbia County than did just 5 years ago. For a non-urban community, this swelling can cause some concerns. One of the biggest problems associated with the area's growth is the traffic problem.
The most prevalent thing is the traffic. Traffic's gotten terrible.
You have to plan extra time, make sure you pack your patience so that you're not getting frustrated in the traffic.
But help might be on the way to relieve the county's congested roads.
We're in the process of doing a lot of road work projects that will help with traffic flow over time. Those projects right now, I think over the next 7 years will be nearly $200 million worth of infrastructure improvements.
Growth is not always a bad thing. The county announced recently that they will develop what they call a centralized downtown corridor in the Evans Plaza.
As the population continues to grow, you're going to see more services being provided, more opportunities being provided. And it's not just government services, it's services of the private industry as well.
I'm excited about what they're putting in over here. Looking forward to seeing what kind of stores are coming in and keep me from having to drive all the way across town to go shopping.
And this growth is not going to stop anytime soon.
Population for Columbia County is only projected to continue to increase, much at the same rate we've increased over the past 16, 15 years. Since 2000 to 2014, we have increased more than 58%.
In these past 3 years, Columbia County has 750,000 square feet of new construction, and they plan to keep that number rising as more retailers arrive. Here for you in the studio, Chris Guardaro, NBC 26.
Progress on the Riverwatch Parkway expansion means some road closures and detours for drivers starting in May. The Georgia DOT says the closures will be in 3 separate phases. Phase 1 includes the closing of Columbia Industrial Drive for 30 days. Phase 2 includes closing parts of Blue Ridge Drive for 14 days and part of Old Evans Road near Old Petersburg Road for a weekend. There will be detours in place. Business owners say they're not too worried about any impact.
I mean, they're going to keep the other end of the road open and now have detours, and most of our clients find us by way of the web anyway, or by telephone.
If you'd like to voice your opinion or have any questions, you can submit them by Tuesday, April 5th by going to the Georgia Department of Transportation's website. Is Augusta Regional Security ready for all the extra traffic coming through Masters Week? The Marshal's office says passenger security is always their main focus. Last year, they installed top-of-the-line surveillance cameras, and this time around, they're ramping up security in the public areas. The focus this time is on suspicious activity like unattended luggage, especially in light of this week's attacks in Belgium.
Trying to be a deterrent in case anybody does think about doing something that is against the security policy here.
As an extra security measure, the Richmond County Sheriff's Office Bomb Dog will also be doing regular sweeps at the airport. Belgian police carried out multiple raids in Brussels, detaining 6 people linked to this week's attacks. Police executed the raids in the Schaerbeek neighborhood after police earlier found explosives and bomb-making material in an apartment used by the Brussels attackers. Federal prosecutors said in a statement tonight that the arrests were made during raids in central Brussels, Schaerbeek, and one other neighborhood.
Your NBC 26 Storm Tracker forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Still.
So far, not a whole lot of rain or thunderstorms out there tonight, but we're going to keep that chance of thunderstorms in the forecast. Temperatures are going to stay mild for most of the next 7 days, and then another chance of rain comes in here for Easter Sunday, so the Easter Bunny there may very well be packing his umbrella by Sunday, especially Sunday afternoon. As for you Friday, any rain is going to be in the morning, probably around 8 o'clock, a 40% chance. Temperatures warm in the mid-60s. For the afternoon, most places are dry, but we'll keep the clouds around for the most part. A little cooler, but still very nice temperature-wise. The high tomorrow right around 76 degrees. Here's a look at our radar at 11:10 in the evening. A little bit of light rain in Edgefield County, eastern Saluda County, down to the south in Sylvania and Millen, getting some light rain. Everything moving northeast, anywhere from 20 up to about 30 miles per hour. Just some light rain there in Sylvania, nothing even in the way of lightning. As we pan out on the radar, there is a secondary line of thunderstorms right along the cold front, and this will pass through the area. Just doing some simple math here, about 8 o'clock in the morning. It's around 280 miles away and moving at about 30 miles per hour off to the east. We are talking about some rain early. This rain here to the south was going to be our main severe weather threat, but it looks like that is going to miss us, and most of us are not going to see anything even close to severe weather. Nonetheless, overnight tonight, there is that minuscule threat for some damaging winds in a few isolated locations, but I'm pretty confident that will stay to the south. Hail, not really a threat. If any of that did happen, it's going to be way down to the south, maybe in southern Emmanuel or Jenkins County, somewhere like that. Right now, 71 degrees, not even any rain falling here at Television Park. A southeast wind at 11 miles per hour. Temperatures around the metro area are in the 70s, almost June-like out there tonight, with 70 in North Augusta, 71 in Hephzibah, and 69 degrees in Millen. You have had some rain in Swainsboro, so you are cooler right now, coming in at 64 degrees. Here's our forecast tracker as we head closer to the Easter holiday. We'll start out with your Friday, 7 o'clock. This is that secondary line of showers, what's left of it. As we head toward the afternoon, I think the clouds are going to linger. It will be a breezy and mild day, but most places staying dry. This front hangs up a little bit Saturday, then starts to come to the north as we move into Sunday. Area of low pressure is going to form along that too, and that looks like a good chance of rain Sunday. We still think most of the rain will be Sunday afternoon into Sunday night. Your forecast overnight, that chance of rain, possibly a thunderstorm, 30%, the low 68 in Sylvania. As we head into your Friday, a nice day temperature-wise, but a 40% chance of rain early in the morning, 75 in Aiken. And here's your 7-day forecast showing that 60% chance of rain and thunderstorms on Easter Sunday. I think for the sunrise services, weather looks pretty good. For the Easter egg hunts in the afternoon, maybe not so good.
I have to move them inside and practice in the living room like we've been doing.
You could do that. You certainly could.
All right, thanks, Chris. Coming up next on NBC 26 News at 11, a bill aimed at making it easier to carry concealed weapons in Carolina hitting a dead end in the state legislature. We'll have more on that right after this.